everyone. It's Lighthouse Angel Messages. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you. I hope you have an amazing weekend and do something really fun and exciting. I'm just doing an overall reading just to see what energies you need to know about, anything that can help you get unstuck, moving forward, and elevating to the best version of yourself. And I've been being called on certain days to bring some information at the beginning of the reading. It's just something I was called to say to you. So you may want to write this down or put this in a journal or on a sticky note or whatever, or just something you can look back to. And I'm just doing it as I'm called. I didn't do one yesterday. I just didn't feel the energy. I didn't have anything coming in. But today I had something very strong. So I'm going to go ahead and share it. It says, just because something was passed down to you doesn't mean it needs to continue or that you need to accept it. Make it end with you. No matter what it is, depression, addiction, low self-esteem, negative mindset, anger, resentment, turn to God to heal it and remove it from your life before it stops you from your dreams. Don't accept dysfunction as the norm. Let God take you to a new level in your life. Okay? I'm going to read that one more time. Okay? Just because something was passed down to you doesn't mean it needs to continue or that you need to accept it. Make it end with you. No matter what it is, depression, addiction, low self-esteem, negative mindset, anger, resentment, turn to God to heal it and remove it from your life before it stops you from your dreams. Don't accept dysfunction as the norm. Let God take you to a new level in your life. Okay? So, hopefully that resonates with you or triggers something to inspire change and grow and evolve. Okay? So, I went ahead and got the overall energy for the reading, and I'm going to be pulling more cards, and I have the Lighthouse box. We're going to get some more messages. But the first card is, in your journey, there will be times when you feel lost, confused, lonely, and angry. These are times of transition. You won't feel those emotions forever. You are transitioning to a better, stronger version of yourself. Shed away those unneeded layers and keep going. Okay. So I'm getting with that is that you're going through a lot of different emotions right now. You may be dealing with a stressful situation, because that came up yesterday, and in today's reading. So, even though you may feel lost and you're going through a lot of emotions, just know it's a transition. It's only temporary, okay? But you need to push through it and shed away any of those unneeded layers of trauma or wounds or emotions and keep going, okay? The journey is not easy, but it is extremely rewarding on the other side. So keep moving forward and don't let what you're feeling right now hold you back, okay? And then it says non-duality. It says, let your authentic humility shine forth while also bowing to the inner divine. You can become fluent at doing both. Yeah, and this is all about, maybe you're getting pulled in like two different directions. Maybe you're feeling like you want to do a lot of humanitarian type things, and while focusing on maybe like some kind of other spiritual project or a divinely guided project. And Spirit is saying you can do both. But we're going to get some more information on this to see, what other clarity we can get when it comes to this duality. or maybe you could be dealing with someone who is, I don't know why I'm getting this, but maybe you could be dealing with someone who's acting like two different people, or they could be a Gemini. Also, it could be like somebody who's acting one way in one situation and acting another way in another situation. I don't know why that's coming up. If that's your story, it's time to sit in truth, right? What is your authentic truth? Let's see, what is... There's a fork in the road, number 13. This fork in the road could be, do I do this humanitarian project, or I do this divine project? That could be the fork in the road. Number 13 could be significant, or number 4. But you know, you have become fluent in both. But maybe you're going to have to make a choice. There might be some kind of choice that you have to make when it comes to two different things. Maybe it's going to require you, and it's going to require a transition. Maybe you're going to go through a lot of emotions through making this decision, you know. Feel the emotions so they can be released. Don't push them down, right? Don't push them down, because then you're just burying them and carrying them around as dead luggage. It's just going to be an added weight to you that you don't need to be carrying forward, right? You need to look at it, you need to deal with it, you need to feel it, and then you need to release it. Okay, what else? Oh, we have 2. It says, number 6, it says, become aware. Listen to the wisdom of the body. You know what I'm getting with this is that your body is going to tell you something. I'm getting this clearly. Like, maybe you're going to come into meeting someone or some kind of situation or something, and you know I've spoken to my channel about how energy doesn't lie. You're going to feel something. Something is going to become aware, and it's going to come. You're going to feel it through the energy. You might feel it in your body. Okay. Your body could be telling you or guiding you about this decision. Maybe one of these situations is like physically demanding, and the other one isn't, something like that. And you need to listen to your body. And then it said number 26, that's number 8. We have 6, 13, which is also 4. It says, practice freedom. Release the weight of judgment. Maybe you'll feel like you'll be judged by making this decision. And you know what I'm getting from this is maybe you've done some kind of healing work. You're feeling this freedom. Don't be afraid of other people's judgment with this decision, okay? Because this is about your freedom. Don't let other people's opinions or ideas or information or anything outside of you distract you from what your intuition is guiding you towards. And maybe that's where you're feeling like lost, confused, angry. It's like, what your intuition is telling you, but you might be having outside sources like friends, family, work colleagues, outside sources, right? Telling you otherwise, and it's confusing you or making you angry because of their judgments or something like that. But they want you to focus on your freedom. And don't let other people opinions or judgments sway you what you know is your truth when it comes to this decision. Okay? And I feel like you're going to I'm really getting this strongly, like you're going to know it, you're going to feel it in your body. Your body's going to also tell you something to be aware of, or it's like your body's going to feel the energy. It's like your body knows the answer. Okay, we're going to get more information from the Lighthouse box. And I feel like the divine is here saying, you're fluent at doing both of these things. Okay? But maybe you don't want to do both of these things. And it's going to be different for everybody. Okay? Maybe you're juggling two things. It could even be more than that. But like maybe you have to make room for something, or a decision is required. Maybe you have to make time in order to have freedom. And that you can't do both, so you have to make a decision. And maybe that's making you feel confused, angry, lost, uncertain. But listen to your intuition. Listen to what your body is telling you. And you always want to go into the direction of freedom. Right? Okay. All right, let's get some more information and see. I'm hearing you have all the answers within yourself. Don't look outside of yourself for the answer to this situation. And if you're really confused, you need to go into meditation. You need to seek the divine for clarity. Ask for signs. Ask for guidance. But release, maybe you need to let go of something you don't want to let go of, but that's all part of transitioning into this better, stronger version of yourself. So don't hold on to something that's keeping you from growing and elevating to a better version of yourself. Okay? Do something that makes you happy. Yeah. Do something this weekend that makes you happy. Maybe pick something you haven't done in a long time. I was just actually thinking about that earlier. Something I haven't done in a really long time. Maybe something that you used to enjoy as a child and you haven't done it in a really long time. Maybe, do something like that this weekend. anything to shake up the energy will also give you clarity. So if you've been doing a lot of self-reflection and trying to focus on this decision and you're just going through a lot of emotions, go do something fun, and that will shake up the energy and a lot of times that will bring clarity, right? Because when you're stuck in this energy, you just kind of go around and around, right? It says, learn to like the little things in life. Learn to like the little things in life. And what I'm really getting with this, it's like that's where the freedom is. That's where your freedom is. In the little things. Okay? So, and release what no longer serves you. Okay? It says, when someone constantly puts you down, leaves you feeling like you can't do anything right, or makes you feel worthless and bad about yourself in general, just know you did nothing wrong and that this isn't love. It's emotional abuse. Maybe that's a situation that you're dealing with. Someone who's playing both sides of the coin kind of thing, this isn't love, this is abuse. So if you have some kind of situation in your life like this, you need to release it. Anybody who's acting out like this is hurting. Hurting from trauma, hurting from pain, right? And they're projecting it out on you. So if whoever's doing this needs healing, right? They need to do their own healing, okay? And I feel like what you need to do is focus on what makes you happy. Because it's not this person. This person needs to look at themselves, okay? And you need to put a boundary up to no longer accept this type of behavior in your life. It's non-negotiable. I'm hearing it's non-negotiable. Let's see. No pain, no gain. What I'm getting from this is that you grew from this. You know when it says no pain, no gain, I feel like you grew from this. Like this is the sun here. It's like you are in your happiness now. You're doing things that make you happy, and you're no longer feeding the energy to somebody, and it could, for everybody it's going to be different. It could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be family, it could be a spouse, it could be boyfriend, girl, whatever. I feel like you're like, I'm moving on from the pain. Like I've grown from that. I'm happy now. I'm doing things that make me happy now, and I'm not interested in somebody who is, I don't know why I'm getting this, but like acting like two different people. They're acting one way to one way and then acting different in another situation. I don't know, it's coming in strongly. Like a duality, right? So you're no longer dealing with this. This is a hard line boundary that you're no longer going to accept this kind of treatment. You've learned it through the pain, and you grew from it, and now you're in the sun now. You're in your happiness. You're seeking out things that make you happy. And even in the little things. Okay? Live with purpose. That's what you're in. You're all about living with purpose now. And you're in your journey. Even though maybe you're not sure or you could be confused right now, right? But you're understanding it's just a transition. And you're pushing through it, ready to elevate to that better version of yourself. It says, once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. Yeah. And that's the divine supporting your journey. If you and this is, we said fork in the road here and decision here. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who is listening to their intuition, right? They've made a decision and the universe is here confirming that they're here to support and make it happen for you. Okay? So if you recently made a decision, maybe it is to live in your purpose. And maybe maybe making this decision, like your body feels different. Maybe you feel lighter. Maybe you feel you've become aware of what was holding you back. And maybe that freedom is living in your purpose. Right? But if you just made a decision, the divine is here saying they're supporting it. Okay? And maybe that decision is living in your purpose. Not allowing, maybe you're not doing, maybe you're choosing not to do two things anymore, right? You're just going to live in your purpose. Maybe you've got the clarity. You're clearly on your journey here. Right? And maybe you've made that decision. You know what? I'm going to live in my purpose. I'm not going to juggle all these things, right? I'm interested more in freedom. I'm listening to my body and I'm making this decision. And I realize there's a transition I'm going to have to go through to line this up so I can live in my purpose. And I'm releasing anybody who's not in line with that, right? I've already gone through all the pain. Now I'm interested in making myself happy, even in the little things. It says, let go once, and if it keeps coming up, let it go again. Peace does not just happen. You have to practice it. Yeah, if you're trying to release something, it could be a thought, like a mindset, thought, negative thoughts, or any traumas or wounds or triggers that keep coming up. You got to let it go again. Peace doesn't happen. You have to keep practicing it. Keep releasing it, fighting the thoughts. It's, peace isn't a flip of a switch. It's something you have to work on, especially when you're in, working on your healing and going through that process. You have to choose yourself every day and fight for your peace. As those triggers and things come up, you have to release them, look at them, deal with them, feel them, and release them, and even forgive if necessary, and release that so you can get your peace. And if it comes up again, you got to keep doing it until it's gone, right? Let's see. Life is good. Life is good. Yeah, and that's the energy. I feel like you want to live in your purpose, love the small things, do something that makes you happy, and have this freedom. And to you, life is good, right? Working on developing that peace, and the divine is supporting this decision that you want to make. Okay? And for some of you, it might be a big decision, which is why you feel lost, confused, lonely, angry, wondering, what am I making the right decision kind of thing. If you were able to believe in Santa Claus for like 8 years, you can believe in yourself for 5 minutes. Ah, that's funny. If you were able to believe in Santa Claus for like 8 years, you can believe in yourself for like 5 minutes. Okay? And that's just like, you can believe in yourself. You don't need other people's validation, right? You need to believe in yourself and choosing your freedom and your purpose. You've become aware of this. Maybe you just recently became aware that, oh wow, okay, this is my purpose. Okay, now what, right? You might be going through a lot of emotions. You need to believe in yourself that despite what everybody else is saying, you know the truth. You know the truth. Your soul knows the truth. It says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:6. Yeah, and that's this decision. Be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid or terrified because God is with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Believing in your purpose. You know? Always keep the divine number one in your life. He's the guiding light. And He's going to guide you with this purpose. Okay? And you're no longer letting anybody hold you back that is constantly putting you down, leaving you feeling like you can't do anything right, or makes you feel worthless and bad about yourself in general. You're just not interested in that. You're living in your purpose, right? I think you've outgrown that. You see the truth in those types of people. You can destroy your now by worrying about tomorrow. You can destroy your now by worrying about tomorrow. Yeah, you need to live in the present moment. Maybe that's something, this fork in the road here, makes you worry about, well, what ifs? This decision might make you like, well, what if? Well, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if, right? The divine is already here saying that they want you to be strong and courageous, and we're supporting this decision. We need you to believe in yourself for at least 5 minutes. Right? You have all the answers within you. It says, ego, everything will fall into place. Only then will I feel at peace. The spirit, I find my peace within and everything else falls into place. Yeah, and the ego's trying to control the peace, you know. That's why we go to the divine to find that peace. If we try to find that peace with the ego, it's like you're trying to control all the pieces, and once they fall into place, okay, then I'll find peace. Well, that peace will never come if you're letting the ego drive it, right? But if you go to the divine, you find that peace within, and then the divine will allow everything to fall into place. Okay? So don't let your ego be the driver when it comes to your peace. Okay? Because that's the shadow side. You know, the ego is the shadow side. You want to be in the light, right? That's where you find that peace within. It says, don't worry about the family that ignores and acts like you don't matter. Love the ones who are always there for you no matter what. Okay. And, and this, comes with friends too. Like if you're somebody who doesn't have family or very little family, friends can, you can have really good, close friends that are like family to you, right? And you just need to hold on to the ones that value and see your worth, right? The ones that are pushing you and want to see you succeed, not the ones that are jealous, envious of you and want to tear you down because you've outgrown them. Okay? Your life will show you who your friends and family are when something happens in your life and seeing who shows up, right? And sometimes, in order to grow and elevate and become the best version of yourself, some people can't come with you on that journey, right? Because of their own choices and where they are. And you can't allow those people to hold you back for what the divine has for you, from your divine path, from your elevation to your best version of yourself, being as close to the divine as you can be. And, most of the time, in order to get on that path, we have to leave people behind, right? Because they're not where you are. And they may not want to go where you're going. So you got to have the strength to release that. Relationships end too soon because people stop putting in some effort. Relationships end too soon because people stop putting in the same effort to keep you as they did to win you. Okay. Relationships end too soon because people stop putting in the same effort to keep you as they did to win you. That might have been a theme in your past. They come in and all full of charm and promises and sweep you off your feet, putting all this effort in. But then once they have you, that's it. Right? They don't want to put the effort in anymore. Right? And I think if that's your story, I feel like you're choosing you now. You're choosing the things that make you happy on your journey, living in your purpose. Not worried about any family or anything that ignores you or can't honor or see your worth. And I feel like you're done trying to convince people to see your worth and value when they never intended to see it in the first place. Right? You realize you don't need that. You don't need their validation. You don't need them to understand when really they never want to understand. Forgiveness is just another name for freedom. Yeah, and here we have freedom. So release the weight of judgment. Forgiveness. Maybe somebody's afraid of being judged. Right? But forgiveness is another name for freedom. So if there's somebody you need to forgive, you need to honor that, for yourself. Right? So that you can soar and fly towards that best version of yourself and not carrying around baggage of the past that it no longer serves you. Right? It's just the pain that it's not even yours to carry, right? It's got to be released or it's going to keep you stuck. Stop asking, why are you so emotional? And instead get curious about why you're uncomfortable with feelings. Stop asking, why are you so emotional? And instead get curious about why you're uncomfortable with feelings. Maybe this is somebody in the past, you know, might have been the same person who was like kind of in the energy of emotional abuse. Maybe they told you were too emotional. Okay, if anybody tells you you're too emotional, that's because they're uncomfortable with their own self, okay? When you're somebody who's emotional, that means you have depth. That means you have feelings, and that is a gift. It means that you feel. There's a lot of people out there that, you know, they don't feel anything. Their soul and their heart has gone cold. So if don't let anybody make you feel that being emotional is a negative thing, or it's something to look down, be frowned upon, right? No, it's beautiful. It's a gift. It should be honored because it means that you feel on a deep level, and that's a gift from the divine. There's a lot of people that go to therapy because they don't feel anything, and they need to feel, but you have the gift. So don't make anybody make you feel that having emotions is a bad thing, you know, something that you need to fix, or it means that you're broken. No, it means that the other person needs to get in and be comfortable and get into their own feelings, right? Go through what you go through. Yeah, and I feel like you've learned this. I feel like you've learned this and have forgiven, you know, people of your past who didn't put in the effort, operated out of their ego, maybe constantly put you down, made you feel like you were never good enough. It could even been family, or they made you feel like you were too emotional, right? You're letting all of that go. And I think I'm like, it took only 5 minutes for you to believe in yourself, and you're like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm just using that as an example, right? You're surrendering to the journey and living in your purpose and making a decision that you know that the divine is supporting you. Radiate positivity. Yeah, and I feel like this is the energy you in because you did your healing work. You know, and the world needs that right now. So if there's any kind of project or anything that you are thinking about, or the divine has told you to get it out there, you know, I talked about this a little bit on today's reading. You know, this, when you radiate positivity, it's an aura, it's a glow, it's an energy, and when you push that out, it affects people. They may not realize that it's coming from you, but they can sense it, they can feel it, right? And it changes people's lives. So you need to get that radiant energy out there in whatever project you feel called to do. Because it will magnetize things to you. When you're in this kind of energy, you're a magnet for the things that you want in your life. Okay, because you're at a higher vibration. You're aligned with, you're in your alignment with the divine, and you become a magnet. You're not chasing anything. You are able to manifest things straight into your life rather quickly. Okay. All right. I'm going to get just a final card here. Let's see what they want here. Just to close up this reading, I hope you got something in here that gives you clarity to what may be going on in your life, and to help you grow and evolve and grow closer to the best version of yourself, which is what you're doing on this journey, okay? So keep going, right? And go for your freedom. Okay? It says, I choose love no matter what. And maybe that's, okay, now we're back to the choice again. You know, and that was this one, and it matches this card here. So, if you are making a choice on love, there's a fork in the road, and you're making a choice on love, the divine may be guiding you or with this. Also, you could be feeling things in your body about this. And maybe you're worried about judgment when it comes to this. Now, this is if it's a person. Maybe you're just operating out of the energy of love no matter what, in every situation, okay? And if that's your story, that's beautiful. Keep going, because that means you're in line with the divine. Divine alignment is in the energy of love, okay? So keep pushing forward, loving yourself, and loving others, right? So, but if this is about a person, you know, and you're having to make a decision, the universe, the divine may be guiding you on this. You may have been getting signs. They're here saying that they support this decision. They're supporting your decision here. Okay? Oh, they want me to get, they want an angel number. Okay, so we'll get an angel number card, and then that will be it. But yeah, keep in this energy of love, and make sure that you forgive, you know, and this forgiveness could be just to yourself. You know, maybe there's something you need to forgive within yourself. Sometimes that's the hardest, okay? And maybe that could be the journey you're on, as far as the confusion. You know, and as far as the radiate positivity, you need to get into that energy, but some of you may have already done your healing work, and that's the energy you're in now, living in your purpose, right? We're all on different timelines, so you just got to take what resonates. But, you know, we can all learn something. Okay, what does the collective need to know about this? We have number 31. That number could be significant, or number 4. It says, your approach to life is an effective mix of both practicality and imagination. Your mind is stirring with creative ideas, and you have the organizational skills to manifest them to life. I am disciplined. And so if you see number 31 or 3131, this is just a confirmation that this is your reading. But maybe there's discipline needed when it comes to this choice, living in this purpose. Maybe if you're doing 2 different things, you're going to need to be organized. And you need to believe in yourself, okay? And don't worry about your family. If your family is not supporting your journey, then they aren't for you, right? You know, they should be supporting your dreams. And if they're not, then you need to put a boundary in place so that they can't hold you back from what from what you're entitled to, which is your dreams. Just because they chose not to chase theirs doesn't mean you shouldn't. Right? That kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning of the reading, where it stops with you. You know, if they chose to stay in depression, addiction, low self-esteem, negative mindset, anger, resentment, that doesn't have to be your story. Right? You can choose different. Don't accept dysfunction as the norm. It doesn't have to be your story just because that's what they chose. It just means that it's going to take strength on your part because you're not going to have their support. You're going to have to do this journey on your own, which you can do it. All you got to do is believe in yourself. The divine is supporting your decision. Okay? I hope this resonated for you. And don't forget, if it doesn't, check back on Monday. I do daily readings Monday through Friday to see if something resonates for you there. But until then, have a wonderful, beautiful weekend. And I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care. Bye.